Hi, my name's Peter. I'm here to talk to you today a bit about the experience that I've had through having an Isleroth frame fitted to my leg. The basic background as to why I'm here: I was involved in the terrorist attack of the Brussels airport bombing in March 22nd, 2016. I received surgery in Brussels where I was kept for 3 months before being transferred here to the East Birmingham the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, where Miss Bowes operated on me to put in the Isleroth frame. The reason for the frame was the injuries I sustained were the shrapnel ripped through my left leg, taking away approximately 4 to 5 inches of the bone. Obviously that left a large gap in my leg, and I have, since the date of fitting, which was June the 8th of 2016, I have been regrowing the bone and obviously bringing my leg back to as normal as possible. With regard to the bone growing, or transport as the term is used in hospital, basically what is involved here is that the frame is fitted to my leg, and the bone is cut just in my case just below the knee joint, and over a period of the next however many days, in my case it was 4 months, you start to adjust the frame, which basically stretches the new growth in the bone, so that you transport your original bone down to meet the bone at the bottom of the gap, leaving the new bone growing from where the cut was made by the surgeon at the time. The adjustment is made by some numbered bolts that you have within the frame, which you turn a quarter of a turn 4 times a day. So you basically transport your bone 1 millimetre per day, adjusting 4 times a day, a quarter of a millimetre each time. This is actually a very simple process. It's not particularly painful. You do feel slight movement. Certainly once you get to a stage where the skin has stopped stretching, you do start to feel a little bit more the fact that you are stretching the skin out to its maximum. But it's a routine that obviously you need to get into and follow rigidly, so that you obviously get your bone to transport correctly and in the right time. Miss Bowes will give you all the help and assistance you need, but at the end of the day, it's down to you to take charge of your frame and basically to run it as as best as you can to make sure that it heals properly. So yeah, it's in your own interest to really take charge of it. Living with a frame it's something that you have to get your head round. It's cumbersome. It hurts when you swing your leg through and forget you need that extra bit of width in your gait, and sometimes you catch your other ankle. So it's one of those things that you do have to learn to sort of get used to. I'm looking forward to mine coming off for one reason more than anything, is I would love to be able to lie on any other side but my back. I've spent 18 months sleeping on my back because you can't get comfortable with the frame lying any other way. I mean, you can support it with pillows and things like that, and it's okay to, and then you can sleep, but it's just hassle. So yeah, I've slept on my back most of the time. Obviously, whilst the injury is quite new and the frame is quite new, I took to wearing a polythene sock which you can buy, and I've forgotten the name of where I could get it, sorry. But basically you could pull that sock over, which kept the whole leg waterproof whilst you showered. And I kept that on for, I kept wearing that for the first few months. And then once things had settled down and there were no sort of real open wounds other than the pin sites, I then went to showering normally, and just making sure that all the pin site areas are dried and properly and kept well clean. So clothing, I think clothing is the biggest problem. It's a case of adapting most of your clothes, sort of sending them away and having sort of gussets put in to cater for the frame. A lot of us end up wearing just shorts most of the time, but obviously in the winter months it's not quite so pleasurable. I can tell you that I have found a pair of trousers that do work. They're called Oxford bags, and a retro company called 20th Century Clothiers, or 20th Century Clothing, sorry. You can find them on the internet and they sell them, and they're called Oxford bags. They flare out to about a 16-inch flare from the hip right down to the leg, so to cover even one of the larger size frames, you'll find that it'll cover most of them. So once I found those, it at least gave me a little bit of an option to be able to dress up to go out sort of style. So you didn't have to go out for a meal in a pair of shorts or a pair of oddly cut trousers. So it sort of made life a little bit better. So yeah, from that point of view, it was good. Stairs, yeah. Well, I mean, stairs were a problem when I first got home. I was literally sort of shuffling up and down the stairs on my bottom, and I was doing that for probably the first month, 6 weeks. Then obviously physio. I was doing physiotherapy at that stage, and I was getting stronger. So as I got stronger, so then I was able to start walking upstairs. Obviously, I had an extra handrail put in on the stairs at home, to assist getting up and down, just to support the weight of my body as you're going up and down the stairs. Yeah, physiotherapy sessions in the early days, before I could travel, was I wouldn't miss. You know, I made sure that I was here every week. I realised how important to my recovery and the speed of which I could recover was important that I came here. And not only from a point of view of the physical recovery, it was the mental recovery as well, because not only do you have the physical side, the mental side, because you're fighting with the pain, because of everything that you've gone through, it's quite a drain on you, and you feel that you're battling against everything all of the time. To actually come to the physio sessions and to meet guys, and yeah, we've all had different reasons for having these frames fitted, but we all share the same common problem, is that we have a frame. And so from a point of view of being able to sit down to a fellow sufferer and go through everything, you find that you're actually not on your own. You're not suffering from something that somebody else isn't going through, and you know, it isn't not working for you because you're feeling this pain, because the guy you're talking to is going through exactly the same thing. So you know, you're not alone. And so the physiotherapy classes, just from a point of view of being able to sit and speak to other guys and find out how they're getting on, is brilliant. Not only from a point of view of finding that out, but from a point of view of when you have a dark day, and you will have dark days. There are good and bad days for us all the time, and until you get signed off, you know, you are going to have these highs and lows all the way through. You know, and for 18 months I've had highs and lows. I've done better, more highs than lows, but when the lows come, they can be bad. But you come to physiotherapy, you speak to the guys, and you know, it actually lifts you. They help you through it, and you can walk away from your physiotherapy feeling a lot better, feeling confident, thinking, well, you know, that guy's gone through exactly the same thing, but you know, he's doing all right again now. I can actually go that way as well. So, you know, okay, I've had a bad day today. Tomorrow's going to be a good day because he's told me it will be, and, you know, I can expect that. And so if you can meet tomorrow with a thought that it's going to be a good day, then you're halfway there. You know, if you wake up thinking, or if you go to bed thinking, tomorrow's going to be a bad day because I'm hurting today, so tomorrow's going to be a bad day. It is going to be a bad day. But if you go to bed thinking, okay, tomorrow's going to be a good day because I want it to be a good day, invariably it can be a good day. And it really is about your own thought process and about being able to think about being better. You know, yeah, if you want to stew in your own sort of problems, then you're going to have more dark days than good days. But yeah, as I say, physiotherapy is a great place to come. If you do have dark days, get here and speak to the guys, because it's a real family, you know. I mean, sort of like the guys that are here, you've got Mark and Philippa and Max, and they're fantastic people, and they're just there, you know, and they help lift you just as much as the other guys as well. And obviously keep a check on making sure that we're looking after the pin sites and keeping it all, you know, as it should be. So that's good. Pin sites, they need constant attention from a point of view. I mean, as they sort of start to heal, then it's not so bad. But while they're new and they're an open wound, I mean, bear in mind that a pin site is always an open wound because it's a pin that's going through your leg and coming out the other side. So it never actually really heals. And so really it's just a case of cleanliness, keeping it clean, and just making sure that there's no dirt or anything around there so that can cause you infections. And actually, yeah, infections, if you get an infection, don't worry about an infection. It happens. I mean, you have to go on a course of antibiotics. I've had more than my fair share, I would say, of infections. I mean, I've lived on antibiotics pretty much, because as soon as I stopped taking one course of antibiotics and I got rid of one infection, for some reason I picked up another one. It's not because you're doing something wrong, it's not because you're not keeping your pin sites clean, it just means that you're unlucky and you've just picked up another infection. But the thing is, if you get an infection, don't ignore it, get it treated. And yes, they're uncomfortable, they can be a little bit painful, but if you get it treated, it clears up quickly, and you know, you're back to normal. So it is important to try and keep them clean, and then obviously you reduce the chances of any infections. So.